friends. So, I know I promised you I would make a video every week, but I burnt my hand like 2 days after doing that, and it's still fucking healing. And I haven't wanted to look like really janky on camera with like me running my fingers through my hair and stuff, because it's not very fun to have this burnt. Like, I did it making steaks, so I feel really stupid. If my face is dirty, it is because I have been outside gardening all day. If you're watching this right now, I filmed this while it was my birthday. Today is my birthday. I'm turning 23. Gemma Bear! Gemma Bear! What you doing? What you doing? What you doing? Gemma Bear! What you doing? What are you doing? Hi, baby. It's my 23rd birthday. So I figured I'd walk around my house and tell you my garden plans, since I've been wanting to make a gardening video for a while. It's just been one of my passions lately, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. So here we go, I'm going to give you a little tour. Right now you're looking at my backyard where I like to play fetch with my dog. It's pretty big. Those are apple trees and pear trees back there, and the big one in the center is a walnut tree. There's a rhododendron right here that's kind of dying. And then there's this bush that I cannot remember the name of. The lilac that's currently in flower right now that I think is just so pretty. Let me get a close-up of that. Ooh, just look at those flowers. So pretty. Some are kind of dying, but it smells so freaking sweet, you guys. Like, these flowers are just so nice smelling, and I love seeing them and just how crisp and clean looking they look. I like bush is where I keep our current patio furniture. There's 2 over here and 1 over in the garden bed because Keith needed to mow. That's Zach's stepdad. But I've got the garden beds here edged, as you can see. These have kind of been left alone for years and years, so the grass grew right up to the house. But the man who owns the property said that I could literally do whatever I wanted with the flower beds. So I've been kind of going with this really flowy design. And my plan is to just continue this around the house and establish some garden beds between these 2 bushes here to kind of come in and go around like a circle. And I think it's going to look really pretty when it's finished. And eventually it's going to come around to the front of the house, or at least the part that we get to enjoy, where there's this nice little rose bush that's been growing here for quite a while that I've been kind of staking and helping. I like the spiral that it's kind of going in right now, so I'm keeping it like that. And then I put these little sedum in this little bucket to grow in the sun, and I think they're doing really well. And this is one of the old water pumps, I think. But I'm going to edge this out into another little circular garden bed, and this corner will come around and go like round up to the edge of the greenhouse area. And then let me just show you the plants that I've got growing in front right now. So I don't have much growing on in the actual greenhouse itself, but I've got potatoes started, as well as lemon cypress that in the front is surrounded by these rosemary starts that I planted. Didn't expect them to get that big though. So I might take the lemon cypress out of there and put it somewhere else. We've got sugar snap peas, and for my birthday, one of my birthday presents from the bag, I got a canna lily, which I think is so cute and pretty, and I'm gonna plant it in here when I get more soil, probably tomorrow. And down here, waiting for a spot, it's kind of not doing so good, but I grabbed this from my sister's property where my dad had dug up this old patch of daisies that my grandma had grown there, and he like brought it to the property that he lived at, and I brought them back, and I've decided to just like take a little bit of them wherever I go and live. So I've got my grandma's daisies growing with me, and yeah, this is a little piece that I've got going. I've got like 2 more around the farm, and yeah, and over here lots more rosemary, lavender, rosemary starts for my friends. Trying to get my cabbage to go, but I think the sun keeps baking it too long. And then there's my succulent planter, which I am in love with. I love how happy it is and how pretty it looks, and just I love its prettiness, and I love when it comes to flower and I get to see all the little yellow bits. And it's just something I like to look at all year round because it stays like that all year round and it stays alive. And then the cool part about the succulents is that any little pieces that fall off, like those over there, I just stick in the dirt and they turn into more succulents. Miracle. My chives. If you don't notice, I'm kind of a fan of things that I can eat. And then over here I've got this little purple cone flower that I've been waiting to plant somewhere. And then right here we've just transplanted my wildflowers that I grew from seeds last year. And so they came back, and I put them down here by the porch so that they can just continually come back and fill in that garden bed, and I'm super excited about how that looks. Coming around to the front walkway that goes down to the driveway, I've made both these planters myself. There's Delphinium, there's, I think this is called Prasia. Yeah, Prasia, and then Sandwort. And I really love how this looks. When it fills in, it'll kind of be spilling out, and then the canna lily that I just got, as well as some basil starts on one side and succulents on the other to fill in the blank spaces. Over here, I cannot remember the name of this bush for the life of me, but here's the big rhododendron that I've yet to trim. There's this little pink thing that no one who I live with knows the name of, but it honestly smells like bubblegum when you walk up to it. Just look at those freaking flowers. Look at that bloom. It's almost too pink for the camera. And then next to it, we've got this beautiful primrose bush that was growing literally up to the wall, but I trimmed it down because I like the kind of smaller, more manageable shape of it. The rhododendron that I've got to deadhead so that it can come back to bloom and feed the bees. In here, that's like all empty and it filled up with grass, like I said. So I'm going to edge this garden bed out and have it come out around the little primrose bush, which I think I did a great job trimming. But I'm going to have this come around in like a round shape and be really flowy to go along with this patch here that you see that's kind of dead. This was all daffodils that grew in, and they're really overgrown themselves. So I'm going to come in through and dig some of these up and separate them out before fall, probably in the next month or so. And then there's this flower that apparently Keith said he usually mows over every year, but he decided to let it grow. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe you guys can tell me. It hasn't bloomed yet, but I think it's going to be really pretty. Back around the front to the wheelbarrow planter that I've created. Like I said, this garden path is going to, not garden path, but this garden bed is going to come all the way around in a very kind of smooth arc over to the edge of the sidewalk. And then in the wheelbarrow planter itself, I've planted some African daisies, which are trying to struggle. And then there's the daffodils that I just cut back. I'm waiting for them to kind of die off a little bit more before I dig up the bulbs. And I can't remember what that was, but I planted it, so I know it's good. It's not a weed. Right here, I've got a memory garden for one of my friend's daughters who was actually hit and killed last year. Rest in peace, Keisha. And right down near Keisha's garden, I've got my grandma's little garden statue that she used to keep. It's her little Chinese gargoyle next to a nest that I found while I was trimming this beautiful holly tree, which was all the way down to the ground. Like, you could not walk underneath it. And now I am slowly turning it into my shade garden. I've got to take in a bunch of the sunlight. I transplanted a lot of African daisies yesterday. I've got 2 different types of coleus and 2 different kinds of hostas. And for a little ground cover, I've got, what is this? Gold cap pocketbook flower. And I believe this is sweet woodruff. Yep. I love that little white flower. It's super cute, and supposedly it's supposed to really fill in the area, so I'm hoping it does before the end of the summer. It probably won't, though. Who knows? But I edged these garden beds in the last 2 days. I'm going to do more of the edging in the next few days. This, right over here, used to be a big forsythia bush, but it got cut down because it was becoming too problematic. It was growing into the ground wherever it was touching it. So I'm going to turn this into another big circular garden bed, probably a butterfly garden, because we get a lot of them around here, and I feel like they don't have enough flowers to feed on. And for those of you who are wondering, this is a big, gigantic hibiscus bush that has been here for, I think, like 75 years. This thing's been really, really old, but I love how pretty it is, and I've been slowly kind of, I don't know if you notice this, but I've been braiding branches together that come up near the bottom, and I think it's super neat. I'm excited to see how it grows. Around this back edge here, and like dotted throughout here, I got really impatient earlier this spring, and I just dug holes and filled them in with potting soil and then planted little sprouts. And you could see, hold on, I don't know if you can see it, but my sprouts are coming up. But there's daisies and echinacea just kind of dispersed throughout each of them. This purple rhododendron, which is about to go dead, I saw it at my work that they were digging it up, and I asked them for it, and they gave it to me. this is my hydrangea bush, and then I've got some mint growing in the shade, which I hope does well. Marigolds, more sedum, marigold, African daisies, all the way up to the marigold in the back. Can't remember the name of that purple flower. And then I tried to make an old planter out of this really old colander that was rusting out in my kitchen. I was using it as a compost bowl, but I decided to turn it into a planter. But I think the forget-me-nots are kind of doing okay if they would just continue to stay in the light. If not, though, these little succulents could take over. That'd be cool. And then all the way growing up the stairs, filling old coffee pots, since I am a caffeine fucking fiend, I've got strawberries and arugula, more arugula, and this pretty, I can't remember what it is. It's feverfew. It's golden feverfew, and I love it. And I'm super excited to plant it when I get the garden beds edged out. And over here, I've got more of my succulents that I've already gotten to grow. I love how big they've gotten. They're about to come to flower. Oh, look at those. They already have. Super pretty. Hello, little spider. My dead little terrarium. These little shade flowers that I saw growing in the concrete, and I just grabbed them. And my little teacup planter. But near the holly tree, we've got this big rose bush that is just coming into bloom. Hold on. Let me see if I can get some of these blooms for you. Oh, they're so pretty. So pretty. So freaking pretty. Look at that. Happy birthday to me. Yeah, all these rose blooms. And this is where I'm lucky enough to live, right? These are all daffodils along here that I've still got to dig up and weed eat over, but hey, long ass driveway. Woohoo! So you guys, I'm super happy with the garden that I've already got. I just figured I'd give you guys a little garden tour because it's something to film for a video, and it's my birthday, so I figured I'd document it. Why not? Happy birthday to me. I've gotten a lot of really cool gifts that I'm super happy about already, and I still haven't even had dinner or my cake yet. And I just want to say, like, I am so grateful for the life I have. Like, seriously, there's some times where I feel like I'm really struggling and I've got all this shit piled on top of me, but at the end of the day, I've got this awesome house, I've got plants that I'm growing that I can eventually eat. Like, that's kind of cool. Me, who's like a fatty, whatever. But yeah, I'm happy right now, and that's something that I haven't really felt before. Like, I haven't ever really been happy with where my life was at. And right now at 23, oh man, that feels weird to say, 23 years old, I, Dawn, am honestly very proud of myself. Like, I never saw myself getting this far. I'm turning into an old lady more and more every day. Like, I worry more about my cats than I do about my friends sometimes. And for those of my friends who I do worry about more, I check in on them to the point where, like, I feel like that crazy, like, super pushy, like, can I get you some water? Can you come over to my house? Will you love me forever? Kind of friend. And it's just super scary. And I don't want to push people away, but I'm just super thankful to have them in my life. And I want them to know that. Anyway, I feel like I'm kind of rambling. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I really appreciate you all, and I appreciate all the positive comments that you had about my hair bleaching video. I've been thinking about kind of going lighter, but I've been avoiding doing so because of the burn on my hand. It's not very much fun to have. But anyway, if you like this, just give it a like down below, and just let me know what you think of my garden in the comments. Subscribe. See you later, guys.